Conventional wastewater treatment plant. This is the most important video lecture in this module. You have to follow this video, otherwise you will not understand the whole module. In previous lectures, you learn about water chemistry or you learn about constituents in wastewater. To follow this lecture, you should have the proper knowledge on wastewater constituents and also the water chemistry. Let's see sources of wastewater. Sources of wastewater. Wastewater is generated from domestic sector and institution as well as the commercial sector. So all these sources consist of human waste, consisting human feces and urine. And there are household waste coming from domestic wastewater, which consist of laundry wastewater and wastewater generated from the kitchen and the bathing. Then wastewater is generated from street washing or runoff from rainwater, which is called as storm water. So this runoff from rainwater consists of sand, grit, and also the animal waste. And there may be large floating things like polythene and we can say plastic cups. Likewise, there may be coarse solids also. Then industrial waste. Industrial wastewater is coming from manufacturing industry, and during the manufacturing process the wastewater is generated, and also from cleaning equipment or vessels, and also from cooling waters or generate wastewater. So these are the sources for a conventional wastewater treatment plant. And also, due to the groundwater infiltration, like from leaky pipes, from manholes of some pipes, some water is infiltrated. Let's see conventional wastewater treatment plant. So this is the most important lecture in this series. Without following this lecture, you are not able to follow the whole section, water and wastewater treatment. Okay, so as a summary, now you know the wastewater consists of coarse solids. In previous slide, I told you that there may be very large solids. Some of them are floating or non-floating solids. So there may be polythene parts, plastic parts, some metal parts. Okay? So they are very coarse or large solids. Then there are dissolved solids. You know that organic matters are dissolved, and there are some inorganic matters. There are some inorganic matters as well as the organic matters. So the BOD is due to the organic matter. Whether they are dissolved or non-dissolved. Then there are suspended solids. So suspended solids where the density of the solid is equal to the density of the liquid. In dissolved solids, we do not want to talk about the density, but for the floating solid, density is greater. Density of the solid is lesser than the density of the liquid. Then there are also settleable solids like sand, gravel, silt. Those are very heavy particles. So their density is higher than that of the liquid. So these are the main components of a wastewater sample. These are the main components. So now you are going to learn about conventional wastewater treatment plant. So the main purpose is to remove settlable solids, suspended solids. Okay, so there are uh, class solid class called colloidal particles, colloidal solids. The colloidal solids are very tiny particles which are also suspended in the water. So in a conventional wastewater treatment plant, the other main objective is to remove settlable solids, suspended solids, dissolved solid, the coarse solids, either floating or non-floating. What is the first unit operation of a wastewater treatment plant? Usually, the first unit operation of the wastewater treatment plant is a screening. Is screening. So this is actually this diagram is not a block diagram either or process flow diagram. This is the combination of blocks and also the flow symbols. Okay, so this is the screen. So first unit operation is the screening. So usually we can use bar screen for that, bar screen. And so this is the wastewater. So wastewater consists of industrial wastewater, the sewage, which are coming from domestic sector, as well as the industries and the institute, and storm water. And again, we can divide wastewater as grey water and black water. Okay? So black water is the sewage such, and grey water is coming from the kitchen, laundry, and bathing. So when wastewater flow is going through the screener, bar screen, the coarse solid will remain on the screen. Okay, so usually bar screens are kept in an angle having 30 degrees, 30 to 60 degrees. So it has an inclined position. So by using a raking mechanism, this uh, the remain solids can be removed from the uh, screener. So from screening, we can remove coarse solids, either floating solids or non-floating solids. So the first unit operation of a wastewater treatment plant is screening. Then what is the second unit operation in the wastewater treatment plant? So after removing coarse solids, we have to remove grit. So grit means the settleable inorganic solids. There are settleable inorganic solids. So there may be settleable organic solid also, but basically inorganic, there are settleable solids are inorganic solids. So as example, sand, gravel, and cinders. So the grit chamber, for that we have to use a grit chamber. So usually grit chambers are vessels with conical bottom. So at the bottom of the chamber, those settleable inorganic solids can be settled and they can be removed out from using specific piping system. So grit can be removed. So instead of using grit chamber, we can also use hydrocyclone for these purposes. So now you know the first unit operation is screening to remove coarse solids. The second unit operation is grit removal to remove settleable inorganic solid. Then what is the third unit operation in a typical wastewater treatment plant? So what is this? This is skimming tank to remove skim, fat and oil. So third unit operation is skim, fat and oil removal. For that we can use skimming tank or oil trap. So from this third unit operation we can remove oil, fat, skim and also greases. So in a So this is the rectangular buffers, rectangular vessels where buffers are installed. Where buffers are installed. So first wastewater is going through the screener, then it is going to the grid chamber, then it is coming to the skimming tank. Then there are buffers. So the flow is like this way. Then what happened? The clear water, the oil and fat clear water will go to the other uh, step from the bottom of the skimming tank, while greases, fats are accumulated at the top. Greases, fat and oil are accumulated at the top, because you know the density of the oil is smaller than that of the liquid. Usually the oil density is smaller than the water density. So we can collect oil, fat and grease from the top of the vessel. So the clear water, oil and fat clear water can be taken out from the bottom. So the first unit operation is screening, the second one grit removal, third one skim fat and oil removal. So instead of using this baffle chamber skimming tank with baffles, we can use DAF units. So DAF units mean dissolved air flotation units. So in our future lectures, you will learn about DAF units. Then what is the next unit operation? What is this? So as you see, you can see it is a typical sedimentation tank. So next unit operation in the conventional wastewater treatment plant is primary sedimentation. So what is the purpose of primary sedimentation? Why do we use sedimentation tank? So there may be some suspended solids. So when we use a sedimentation tank, we can settle those colloidal or suspended solids at the bottom of the vessel, at the bottom of the sedimentation tank. Then we can take sludge out from the bottom of the vessel, and we can take the clarified water from the top of the vessel. So this tank is called as primary settling tank. Primary settling tank. Okay? So when you refer the unit operation module for the chemical students and for the polymer students, when you refer the unit operation section, you may have learn about the sedimentation part. So when we talk about sedimentation, there are two types of equipment: clarifiers and thickness. So but in this case we use a clarifier because we want to take clarified water. At here the suspended particles or colloidal particles are settled down and they are taken as sludge from the bottom of the tank. So here now you can see so this is the sedimentation tank. This is a circular type sedimentation tank which having center feed sedimentation tank. So the wastewater coming from the previous unit operation is fed to the sedimentation tank. So I'll use another color for that. So it is fed at the bottom of the vessel and it is going up through this center pipeline. Then it will comes to the sedimentation tank at the bottom, at the top of the vessel. Then what happened? According to the air velocity, according to the liquid velocity and other configuration of the sedimentation tank, the heavy particles will go down. The heavy particles or the colloidal particle will go down and clear liquid will go up through the through this channel. Okay, so this is the way where we can see that this is the way that where we can see that clear water going up and settled water going down. Here you can see the clear water will going up and it is going out through this channel, and the suspended particles and or colloidal particles going towards the down, and they are settled at the bottom of the sedimentation tank. So we can operate sedimentation tank two ways. We can use chemical aided settling, or we can use gravitational settling. So for the gravitational settling, we do not want to put any chemical to the tank, but the residence time of the sedimentation process is very long. It may be 2 to 3 hours. Then uh, for the chemical aided settling, it has 30 to 45 minutes residence time. It has, that means it has short residence time. So if it is a chemical settling, we have to put coagulant and flocculants. That means we have to add alum and some polymers. Example for coagulant is alum, and some polymeric substances we have to add as flocculants. Okay? So alum is one of coagulant, and there are many types of coagulant: ferric chloride, uh, ferrous chloride, and ferrous sulfide. In our future lectures, you can learn about the chemical treatment methods. So if it is a chemical aided settling, we can add coagulant and flocculant. Then we can operate this process within short residence time. Short residence time. So usually the coagulant and flocculant has to be added before water comes to the sedimentation tank. So it depends on the type of the operation. So then we have to install several tanks, and there should be mechanical stirrers also, and there should be feeding pumps also. So we will discuss this matter in our future lectures. So from primary sedimentation, now we can remove suspended solids of the wastewater. So now you know the sludge is coming from the bottom, where the usually 70% of the solid suspended solids or colloidal solids are settled at the bottom of the vessel, and from the top we can take clarified water. We can take somewhat clean water from the top of the sedimentation tank. So then what is the next unit operation? So it is aeration tank. Next unit operation, actually it is not a unit operation, it is a unit process. It is aeration tank. So what is aeration tank? In that aeration tank, aerobic digestion occurred. Okay. So up to now, coarse solids are removed from the wastewater, settleable inorganic solids are removed, oil, fat and skim are removed, suspended solids are removed. Now there are dissolved solids. Now we have to remove the dissolved solids from the wastewater. So those dissolved solids, most of the dissolved solids are organic matters. Organic matter consists of CHO, carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. Now we use aeration tank plus another component for the removal of dissolved solid. So here you can see the aeration tank consists of a mixing device also. There should be mixing devices. It may be a internal mixer, some turbine, impellers has to be installed, and oxygen has to be provided. So oxygen, that compressed air has to be provided. Then what happened? You can see here CO2, carbon dioxide, is emitted from the tank. What happened that? There are organic matter in the wastewater, dissolved solids, CHO, and except to that there are nitrogen, there may be sulfur also. Then with the presence of here microorganism, this should be come near to the uh, arrow, with the presence of microorganism, organic matters converted into CO2, H2O, ammonia, and other end products. So this microorganism need oxygen to degrade the organic matter. Okay. So in other words, we can say that organic materials are consumed by microorganisms with the presence of oxygen to new cells, CO2 and H2O. So anyway, this is the simple explanation that we can remember. Organic matter are converted to CO2, H2O and other end products by microorganism with the presence of oxygen environment. So this is called as aerobic digestion. So during this so here now you can see microorganisms are used to oxidize the dissolved and particulate carbonaceous organic matter into simple end products and additional biomass. Okay, so end products consist of additional biomass because these microorganisms eat these organic matter. So because of having food, having nutrients for them, their population is increased. Microorganism population is increased. Because of that, new cells are formed. New cells are formed. So not only the dissolved solid, but also the colloidal suspended solids are consumed by the microorganism. But remember, but in primary sedimentation, the 70% of the suspended solids are removed, but there are some remain part of colloidal suspended solids. So that's why here you can see uh, microorganisms are used to oxidize the dissolved and particulate carbonaceous organic matter. That means suspended colloidal solids are converted, degraded into simple end products and additional biomass. So simple end products are CO2, H2O, and additional biomass are the new cells. Then, so we use aeration tank. Then according to the reaction, there are end products, additional biomass. So again, it is a type of suspended solids or colloidal solids. Then they have to be removed. In the aeration tank, additional biomass are formed due to the aerobic digestion. Now they have to be removed. So for that, we have to send it to another sedimentation tank. So that sedimentation tank is called as secondary sedimentation tank. So there are additional biomass. So that additional biomass formed due to the aerobic digestion is removed using secondary sedimentation tank. So from the bottom of the tank, we can remove the sludge where those biomass, some percentage of biomass is settled at the bottom of the sludge. So this sludge is called as biosludge or biosolids. Remember, this sludge is called as biosludge or biosolids. Then from the top of the sedimentation tank, we can get clarified water. So this clarified water is sent to the next unit operation. So in this aeration tank, there should be microorganisms also. So if there are not microorganisms available in the wastewater, we have to put microorganisms also. So if you think there is no microorganism in the wastewater, then you can put you can take sludge from another wastewater sample and you can put. Okay, in continuous operation, usually this sludge, the part of the biosludge, is recycled back to the aeration tank. Is recycled back to the aeration tank because this sludge, the sludge coming from the secondary settling tank or secondary sedimentation tank consists of microorganisms, because there are microorganisms in the aeration tank. Then due to the aerobic digestion, the microorganism population was increased. So then they will act as suspended solids. Then we have to remove that suspended solids. Because of that, we send it to another sedimentation tank, secondary sedimentation tank. Then the new in continuous operation, there are new wastewater flow is coming. So for the aerobic digestion, there's a requirement of microorganism. Because of that, we have to uh, recycle part of the sludge, because this sludge consists of microorganisms, so therefore this sludge is called as activated sludge, and this process is called as activated sludge process. This process is called as activated sludge process. So activated sludge process consists of aeration tank and secondary settling tank. These two parts are called as activated sludge process. Aeration tank plus secondary sedimentation tank is called as the activated sludge process. So in our previous diagram, I have drawn these symbols. Okay, now you can see the simple block diagram of the conventional wastewater treatment plant from screening to secondary clarifier. So here the first unit operation is screening. We can use Barak. The second unit operation is grit removal. We can use grit chamber. The third one, fat trap. So it is oil, fat and grease can be removed. So usually the oil density is lower than that of the water, because of we can take them from the top of the top surface of the oil, water. The next unit operation is primary sedimentation tank, or we can say primary clarifier, because the sedimentation is the main term that we can use for the clarification. So primary clarifier. Then from the bottom of the clarifier, we can remove primary sludge. So it depends. Then aeration tank. After the primary sedimentation tank, there's aeration tank. Then in aeration tank, we have to add mixing and oxygen also. Then due to the aerobic digestion process, microorganism population increases. Then we have to send water them. We have to send the water to the secondary clarifier. Then this sludge is coming out, and part of the sludge has to be recycled back to the aeration tank, because it consists of microorganisms. So it is useless to dispose these activated sludge. So the part of the sludge is recycled back. Then we can remove this wastewater into the environment depending on the nutrient condition. So before discharge into the environment, we have to add disinfectants. So disinfectants are added if uh, there may be some pathogenic microorganisms and pathogenic constituents. So when we add chlorine, these pathogenic or microorganism and constituents will be deactivate. So as example, for a disinfectant is chlorine. Then except to that, we can use ozone, then calcium hypochlorite, sodium hypochlorite, that. So if the nutrient conditions, if the nitrogen phosphorus conditions concentration is high, and if there are other toxic materials, then we cannot discharge the water into the environment. Then we have to send it for further processing. Then we have to send water to the tertiary treatment processes or advanced treatment processes. Okay, so now you are familiar with this diagram. The first one, screening, grit removal, skim and fat oil removal, primary sedimentation, activated sludge process, uh, that plus aeration tank and the secondary settling tank. Then here, the water coming from the secondary sedimentation tank can be discharged into the environment, but before that we have to add disinfectants. So what happens when we add disinfectants? Example for a disinfectant is chlorine. So when we put chlorine into the water, hypochlorous acid is formed. Then this hypochlorous acid is formed into hypochlorite ion. Hypochlorite ion. So these are the main major things that we have to care. So these two compound, hypochlorous acid and hypochlorite ion, do the oxidation of the pathogenic bacteria, pathogenic microorganisms and other constituents. So these two compounds do the disinfection process. Then after that we can discharge water into the environment. But if there are nitrogen and phosphorus compound, we cannot discharge water into the environment because the eutrophication can cause and many problem can cause. Therefore, we have to remove the nutrients. So we have to use anaerobic digestion method, then further aerobic digestion methods, some chemical methods. We have to refer for the nutrient removal. After that, again we can discharge water into the environment. So if there are some minerals or some trace compounds, again we can use salt removal method. Okay, so under the salt removal there are many methods. So we can use reverse osmosis, ultrafiltration, microfiltration and electrodialysis method to remove the minerals or the salt. Then we can get 100 most of the purified water. Then we have to send water through the activated carbon adsorption rate. Okay. Then we can get a 100% clear water. Then we can send water to the discharge into the environment. So this is the typical unit operation and unit processes available in a conventional treatment plant, conventional wastewater treatment plant. So students, you have to remember this. You should be able to draw this diagram also. And usually this in exam you are asked to draw the conventional wastewater treatment plant. And also you have to write the purpose of having each unit processes or unit operation. So first step is screening, grit removal. Third one, skim and fat oil removal. Primary sedimentation, activated sludge. Then disinfection. At disinfection, nutrient removal, salt removal, activated carbon adsorption. So these are the conventional wastewater treatment plant which I draw. So while you are following this video lecture, you have to draw your own diagram. You have to draw your own diagram because you should familiar with this one. So from screening, we can categorize these wastewater treatment as several ways. So this screening, grit removal, and oil and fat removal. Those sections are called as preliminary treatment section. Then we have to, if it is a chemical aided settling, we have to add coagulant and flocculant. Then we can find the primary sedimentation tank. So that area is called as primary treatment section. Then we can find secondary treatment section. So in secondary treatment section, dissolved solids are removed. But here, this is a biological treatment section because no chemical is added in here. Microorganisms do the job. Microorganisms do the aerobic digestion. Then after the secondary treatment, we can find tertiary treatment, disinfection and nutrient removal process. And after that, we can find advanced treatment methods, salt removal and activated carbon adsorption. Activated carbon adsorption. So let's see the complete block diagram here. So this is the complete block diagram. Again, you have to draw your own diagram manually. Okay, you have to follow this video lecture while you are drawing or plotting your own diagram. So this is screener, grid chamber, skimming tank, the primary sedimentation tank, aeration tank, secondary sedimentation tank, and there is a, this is the most important part in the secondary treatment. The part of the sludge has to be recycled back to the aeration tank because it consists of microorganisms. So this is activated sludge process. Then we add disinfectant. Then after that we can remove them into the, we can discharge water into the environment. If there are nutrients, then we have to process them from nutrient removal processes. We will learn these things in our future lectures. Then if so, we can remove into the environment. Then if it is not, we have to remove salt by reverse osmosis, ultrafiltration, microfiltration and electrodialysis method. Then activated carbon adsorption. Then after that we can remove, we can discharge wastewater into the environment. So this is preliminary treatment, primary treatment, secondary treatment, advanced treatment and tertiary treatment. So in a wastewater treatment plant, we are going to get the clarified water or clear water or clean water from the wastewater. So when during the cleaning process, a sludge is produced, sludge, or the solid part is produced. So now here you can see from screeners, from screening, the plotting and coarse solids are separated. Then from grid chamber or grid separation gravel sands are separated. Then from primary sedimentation, the primary sludge is separated. Primary sludge is separated, which are organic suspended solids. Then secondary treatment, the dissolved solids are consumed by microorganisms. Then biosolids are removed, which is called as secondary sludge. Then if there are tertiary treatments such as nitrogen, for the nitrogen and phosphorus removal, there may be anaerobic digestion processes or aerobic digestion processes, or sometimes chemical treatment due to the precipitation. Sludge is produced, so it is called as tertiary sludge. So solid part is produced. Some slurries are produced, slurries, semi-slurries or the solid plus liquid is produced in the wastewater treatment process. Then we have to send these sludges into sludge treatment section. So usually sludge treatment consists of thickening, digestion mean aerobic digestion and anaerobic digestion. So there are dissolved air flotation units also, and there are anaerobic digestion where biogas is produced and aeration is done. Then thermal drying. Thermal drying, it may be sun drying. There are sun drying bed or sand drying bed, like that. The sludge is treated. Then this treated sludge, then we can dispose or recycle as a fertilizer, or if it contains toxic material or heavy metals, then we have to find a proper method to discharge the treated sludge. So in some wastewater treatment plants, especially in some textile factories, they send their uh, wastewater sludge, dried wastewater sludge, to dispose in a cement kiln. In a cement kiln. So there is a well-known cement manufacturing plant in our country. So that company uh, that company not purchase, they take uh, toxic sludges, uh, toxic sludge generated from wastewater treatment plant. They take the wastewater sludge to their cement kiln, and in cement kiln, those sludge is disposed at higher temperatures, because in cement kiln the temperature inside the cement kiln is very high. It is more than 1000 Celsius. So at high temperature, those heavy metal containing slugs are disposed and incinerated. So likewise, we can choose a solution. So if it is not available, if it is not able to dispose the sludge in a cement kiln, then we can uh, landfill. We can suggest to landfill them, those sludge in on premises of the factory. Okay. So if as in an ice cream factory or in meat processing factory, so some wastewater sludge may not contain heavy metal or some toxic metals, then they can be reused as a fertilizer or other land application. Those treated sludge can be used. So these are some pictures of screening. So here you can see this is the typical mesh available in a wastewater treatment plant. So even this is also available in our kitchen sink, in your kitchen sink. So to separate the coarse particle, large particle from the water stream. So we in our kitchen sink there's a mesh. Okay. Then this is a bar screen, and these are some pictures of screeners, and this is a dissolved layer flotation unit. So at the top of the dissolved layer flotation unit, at the top of the water surface, that water oil greases are accumulated, then we can separate them from the clean water. So this is the clear picture of a dissolved layer flotation here. The coagulated flocculant effluents are added. That means it is easy to, if we add coagulant and flocculant, then it is easy to remove oil and fat particles. Air is also supplied. Then water with oil and fat, the water with oil, fat and air, and also with coagulant and flocculant are added into the flotation unit. So here the air is added. Because of the addition of air, the volume of the air bubbles are formed. Air bubbles are formed, then what happens? Air bubbles are formed. When air bubbles are formed, the volume is increased, then density decreases. Density decreases. Because of that, these air bubbles will go up with the oil and fat particles. So air bubbles carries the oil and the fat. Then at the top, air will release into the atmosphere, and oil and greases accumulated at the top of the surface. Then there's a raking mechanism to remove the uh, thickened oil layer. Then there's another compartment to send the treated effluent. So this is the fundamental of dissolved air flotation unit. So, and this is another diagram for dissolved air flotation unit. So here the effluent is the wastewater effluent. coming from the other unit process, maybe grid chamber or screener, is sent to this mixing unit. So in this mixing, the flotation aids, that means then flocculants are added. Flotation mean පාවෙනවා. So the coagulants and flocculants are added. Because of addition of coagulants and the flocculants, uh, the oil can be coagulated, conglomerate, කැටි ගැහෙනවා. Then they are sent to the flotation tank. So then it will comes, oil will comes to the top, and from raking mechanism, from a skimmer, they are removed out. So in a wastewater treatment plant, there is a equalization tank. So in my conventional wastewater treatment plant diagram, I did not add the equalization tank. So in our future lecture, I will explain about the equalization tank. So usually equalization tank is means there's a separate tank uh, where all the wastewater coming from all the sources, wastewater coming from all the sources are comes to a single one tank. So it is called as equalization. There are some reason for equalization. There are some advantages and disadvantages also. So in some equalization tank, there are some mixing methods by using mixers or impellers, or by using aeration method. Aeration is done to avoid odor, like that. Then this is about coagulation. So in our future lecture, I will explain about coagulation. But I hope you will learn about coagulation in unit operation lecture. So this is about sedimentation. So these are typical sedimentation tank. These are center feed circular sedimentation tank. This is a rectangular sedimentation tank. So this is a circular radial flow sedimentation tank. So here you can see the wastewater is entered from the bottom of the tank through this middle pipe, and there's a distributor also. And these are called as overflow channel, where clarified water going out. So this is a typical picture of a clarifier. This is the bottom of the clarifier. This is a sludge thickener. So thickener is also a type of sedimentation tank. The way the sludge coming from primary sedimentation tank, and the secondary sedimentation tank is sent to the thickener. So here at the bottom, the again the solids are settled, and from the top we can get a somewhat clarified water. So usually that the clarified water coming from the top of the thickener is again sent to the primary sedimentation tank, for further treating. So this is about sand filter.